People change when they are ready, not when you beg. People change when their patterns hurt them, not just you. People will change when they're humbled by reality and not when they're pressured by others. People change when it costs them something, not just you. People change for themselves, not for your hope, not for your timeline, not for your pain. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Serenity. It's Deborah Augustine, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you who subscribed. And if you haven't, it would mean the world to me if you click that button to make sure you never miss out on an episode. We're all here to become happier, healthier, and more healed. So if you are someone that is unexposed or on your personal growth journey, this is the right place to be. This episode today is about something that we all struggle with. How many of you know someone, you see their potential, but when they don't live up to it, you feel pained? How many of you really want to change someone who's close to you? It could be a parent, a family member, a partner. And how many of you have been in relationships or are in one right now where you're constantly trying to get the person you're with to upgrade and up level, but it just doesn't seem to happen? This episode is for you, and it's all about what to do when people don't change. I read a quote that changed my life, and it said, "People don't reveal themselves through their words. People reveal themselves through their patterns." Pay attention. So many of us listen to what people say, but we do not watch what they do. So many of us look at how people look and how they behave, but not how they show up. So many of us get carried away by how people treat others, but we don't look close enough to how they treat you, how they treat us. Observe the patterns and you will know the person deeply. But when you ignore patterns then you are forever loved with a potential. People are patterns. We all are. And yes, people can change their patterns. But as you know, and I know, patterns take a long time to change. If you drive to work on the same road every day, what's the time frame to change in velocity? If you drive the same time every single morning for years, how long does it take you to change the time or the velocity? Those are like physical things that may be changeable, but the patterns that have been in our mind and our subconscious or are in our thoughts require a life-altering event, altering to set us on a new track. And that can be a painful process. The first point I want to share with you today is the illusion of potential is a projection of your own wound. This is a harsh truth, but stay with me. When you fall for someone's potential, you're often falling for a version of them that only exists in your imagination, or worse, in your unfinished childhood needs. Now, think of someone you're trying to fix and ask yourself, what am I needing? What kind of need is trying to be met through these people? Clarity starts from there. Now, we let people treat us badly because we crave connection. We let people talk to us poorly because we'd rather not be alone. We let people walk all over us because we don't know how to stand for ourselves. But when we do those things, we don't change them. We lose ourselves. People change when they are ready, not when you beg. People change when their patterns hurt them, not just you. People change when they're humbled by reality, not when they're pressured by others. People change when it costs them something, not just you. People change for themselves, not for your hope, not for your heart, not for your timeline, not for your pain. When you realize this, that you can see someone's pattern, the question you have to ask yourself is, am I willing to stay here if the pattern runs the same way? Am I willing to be present if they say they want to change? You know, often we say yes, but have they said they want to change? Have they showed you a plan? Have they committed to change? You may see small changes, but unless they vocalize this, unless they verbalize or communicate with you, they are still living in their imagination. Now you think, Debbie, what do I do with my family? What do I do if it's my partner? The first thing you have to look at is if it's abusive or toxic or highly emotionally manipulative. You've got to take a look at that very seriously. But if it's someone, just say, oh, I'm not sure, maybe we'll do this, maybe we could be friends. You have to ask yourself how much you're willing to tolerate and be patient. You have to ask yourself how much of yourself you are losing, and only you know that. Step number 2, believe what they do, not what they say. If someone repeatedly disrespects your time, disappears during hard moments, or break boundaries, that's who they are. So you are hoping for your partner to become more perfect or less impulsive. The truth is, they may say those things, but what are you seeing? What are they doing? What are they acting? Because we humans are so emotionally sentimental, right? And you almost think to yourself, I've just been waiting for you to say that. I've just been wishing for you to say that and wanting for you to say that. But the reality is, you are not waiting for them to say that. You're waiting for them to show that. That's what we have to focus on, to track the patterns, hoping it's not a strategy. So don't focus on promises, focus on patterns. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, that's who they are, at least for now. If someone disappears when things get hard, that's who they are. If someone breaks your boundaries and calls it love, that's who they are. If someone lies to protect themselves, not your trust, that's who they are. If someone makes you question your worth, that's who they are. If someone only shows up when they need something, that's who they are. If someone makes you feel crazy for having standards, that is who they are. If someone constantly apologizes but never changes, that's who they are. If someone expects grace but gives you none, that is who they are. They can't change, but only if they want to. A big part of us just justifies people's bad behaviors. Instead of looking at the patterns, we say, but they're great at this, but they're wonderful in this way. That's true. People always do things. There can be so many things, but we have to be careful to not sacrifice ourselves for too long. And there are too many people that have done this, and 10 years later they say, I've lost myself, I don't know who I am, I don't have an identity. You have to measure how extremely you are not accepting someone for who they are. Step number 3. This is going to be a hard one to take in, but I have to be honest with you. Stop mistaking your control for love. Trying to change people often feels like care, but it's usually covert control. You're trying to manage their chaos so you do not have to face your fear of abandonment, disappointment, or certainty. In our foundational work, I explained that you can't force someone to be who they are not. You can only love them where they are or leave. Next time you feel the urge to help someone change, pausing as positively, while you're doing this for them, you are getting discomfort from their behavior. It's a form of control. And again, it could be unconscious. You could really care. But along the line, that care is for yourself. You do not want to have to experience the emotions of letting them down. You do not want to have to experience the emotions of setting boundaries. You do not want to experience the emotions of someone not liking you. So you'd rather shapeshift, mold, and change and carve them and change yourself in the process as well, in order for both of you to have a peaceful situation, when in fact the situation is you do not know each other. Let me give you an example. When you're trying to change someone, you say to them, hey, if you were more focused, you could be more successful. But what you're trying to heal is your personal issue with finances. But you're trying to do it through them. Now, I'm not saying that you do not need people to earn. You may need people in a situation where you need to inquire from. But the point is, that person has shown you who they are. And they might not be a good partner for you if you're looking for mutual responsibility. So much of the time, we get learned by someone's mind, someone's words, someone's aura, someone's charisma, someone's personality, that we forget what real life looks like. Real life looks like looking at your bank balance, looking at your bills, waking up next to someone and going to sleep next to them. Real life looks like coming home when you're bored and tired and everything is okay. Real life looks like talking when there's nothing exciting to talk about, planning when you're waiting for that vacation. Who do you want to be in your life for the real things and not just the imaginative ones? Step number 4 is radical acceptance is not resignation. It's respect. It's a respective philosophy. There's something they call DBT. They have this thing in common. This concept was created by Dr. Marshall. It's doubtfully accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. To be honest, most of our problems exist because of how we want life to be and how life actually is. The gap between those two is the amount of pain you experience. If you want life to feel like this, but the IQ look like this, that gap is the amount of stress, pain, and anxiety that you feel. So people say, do I lower my expectations? No, we don't want expectations. We want to experience reality so we can make better choices. And the next point, you are not their mirror, you are their environment. They give you like an effect versus the environment talking in real time. Yes, people write expectations, but only if they want to. There's an effect that shows that people perform better with higher expectations, but this only works when it's like a mutual investment. You're not a sculptor. You've been nourishing some things that you do not have a plan to grow. If they do not have a light, that your sunshine will burn them. You can't be someone's guru, you can't be someone's guide, you can't be someone's teacher unless they allow you to be. And what I've seen is that people change more by the people around them than someone telling them what to do. If you are around a group of high achievers, you feel like becoming a high achiever. If you are around the people that take care of their health, you feel like taking care of your health. If you're around a group of people who gossip and talk negative about others, you will gossip and talk negative about others. We are so defined by the people that we are around us. If you really want to change yourself and you really want to change someone else, it's by changing who they are around with. It's not about telling them what to do. It's not about educating them. It's about taking them to another space, a different environment, and allowing them to experience that. That's what changed it. That's how change happens. And the reality is, sometimes the most loving choice is often to let go. Sometimes the deepest form of love is saying, I see you clearly now, and I release you with compassion. Research in the journal Psychology shows that people who practice disengagement coping, letting go of unchangeable people, of situations, reports higher well-being and less depression, less domestic violence, less family abuses or abusive marriages. People are not yours to change. People are not yours to troll. People are not yours to change. Instead of disrespecting them, first, start with distance. And if distance doesn't work, then disconnect. Often we stay close to people with judgment, with criticism, with complaining, only to make us far away from them anyway. Do you know why people shout when they're angry? Because when you're angry and you're physically close to someone, we shout because our hearts are far apart. Even though we are physically close to someone, we can be emotionally so far that we are shouting to get the message across. But no one has ever changed because someone shouted at them. No one has ever changed because someone complained to them. People change when they realize that if they didn't, their life would fall apart. You could love someone who is compassionate, but leave someone who's judgmental. People change in ways we don't want them to, more than they change in the ways that we want them to. The only decision under our control is, do I want to be close? Do I still want to be here? Can I be patient and tolerant? Or am I losing myself? Focus on what you can't control, which is how you feel, what you do, and whether you stay or leave. That's what you are in charge of. That's what you have power over. Focus on that. Thank you so much for listening to today. I love recording this episode, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that are watching, shares, comments, and subscribe. Please make sure you pass this on to someone who could really benefit from here. Share your insights on TikTok, on Instagram about what you're learning about. And I love seeing your posts and engagement, and share them on Instagram. And I really, truly hope that this is helping you heal and live a better and more meaningful life. And I'm forever in your corner and always rooting for you. Don't try to rebrand yourself until you watch this next episode. If you watched the previous episode, this is the next episode. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated.